evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?
Welcome back to the Detroit Tigers franchise on MLB the Show. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. We are about a week and a half away from the All-Star break. So early July here, Tarek Skubal getting ready to go against the Royals. And as you'll see here, a quick glance at the AL Central standings, we're 6-4 over our last 10 and have managed to squeak out to a 4-game lead in the division, with the Guardians falling back to 500, White Sox 2 games below 500. So we're playing pretty good ball. I'd like to see our record be better than that, but we're 4 games up in the American League Central, so kind of hard to complain about that. But nonetheless, what we're going to have is 1 game here, and then we will have a mid-season recap, as between this game and the next one, we will have the All-Star break. So we'll get to see this game against the Royals, and then dig into the numbers at the All-Star break. So sit tight, and we're heading out to Kauffman Stadium. And here we are in beautiful Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. It is the 35-51 Royals taking on the Tigers, who come into this one 48-40 on the season, and looking to complete a series sweep here. As you can see there, just 2 earned runs allowed by the pitching staff through the first 2 games, and the team hitting .316 combined in the series, as they took Game 1 3-0 in shutout fashion, and then Game 2 again by 3 runs, with the final being 5-2. So they look to get the sweep on the road here and keep their season headed in the right direction. On the mound for the Royals is Asa Lacy, the left-hander, making his 17th start of the season. He's got a 4.82 ERA and a 1.62 WHIP. Command a little bit of a challenge for him, but we'll see if he can get things going, and that's a good start there as he strikes out Andrew Benintendi, looking against his old team. He goes down on strikes for the second out, and then it's Rafael Devers down the left field line against the shift all the way to the corner, and he doesn't run too well, but that's an easy stand-up double. The Tigers have a runner into scoring position here in the first inning, and it's going to be Spencer Torkelson due up next. 0-1 pitch is lined into right field. He had one to hit there, but right at the right fielder, and that's going to strand the runner, and we go to the bottom of the first now and get a look at Tarek Skubal's numbers so far this year. He will be making his 18th start, and the young left-hander has a 2.96 ERA and a WHIP at 1.27. So he has pretty much blossomed into a pretty effective major league starter, and looking to keep his season going strong here. First batter is Kyle Isbell. Ground ball to first. Nice play by Perez as he slides and makes the backhanded stop. Skubal over to cover, and that's the first out. And let's look at the Royals lineup, as this is an offense that has definite issues with its potency. As you see, the slugging percentage there as a team is dead last in the league at just .382, so not a lot of power, and not the strongest averages up and down that lineup as well. Next batter is Ben Gamble, and he takes one into left field for a 1-out knock, and he's on with a single, as the Royals have their first base runner. Then it's Tyler Freeman on the first pitch. He swings and hits a grounder to second, and that is a 4-6-3 double play, and the Tigers get 2 for the price of 1, and we're scoreless after the first inning. Now to the bottom of the second, it's Ryan O'Hearn, swing and a miss on a slider down out of the zone, and that's the second strikeout for Skubal, I believe. No, it's not. That's the second strikeout right there, as he gets Massey swinging on a splitter down and away, and it's back-to-back Ks for the young lefty. Now on to the top of the third. Runner at first for Willy Castro, and he goes down on strikes, and that would be the first out of the inning. Now on to the bottom of the third, actually, and there's a 2-out walk, rather, to Kyle Isbell, and now, actually to the 9-hitter, and now it's Kyle Isbell's turn. He hits one up the middle that Baez dives and knocks it down, but that is going to go down as an infield single, so now a runner in scoring position as it's first and second for Ben Gamble. 0-1 pitch is hit to the right side. BR has it, and they are going to get out of this one. So after 3 innings here in Kansas City, we are still scoreless, but the Tigers just 1 hit to this point. Now on to the top of the fourth, 1 out for Spencer Torkelson, and there is a nice solid hit, as he almost took the head of Lacy off there, as that ball was rocketed right back up the middle, and Torkelson's on with a base hit. Then it's Jonah Perez with 2 out, hits this one right at the third baseman, who muffs it a little bit, but able to recover and get Perez at first, and that'll end the inning. We go to the bottom of the inning now, 2 away for Massey, and he strikes out again on that splitter, as it's going to have to get sent down to first to retire him, but after 4 innings, still no score. Now on to the top of the 5th, 1 out for Haas. Fastball up in the zone, but that was very hittable right over the middle of the plate. But he swings through it, and that's the 2nd out. Then it's Willy Castro, 1-2 pitch. Is a slider down out of the zone that he swings through, and that's another strong inning for Lacey. Go to the bottom of the 5th. First batter is Tyler Whitaker. Fastball up and in, got him swinging, and he's down on strikes. And Scooble still pretty well locked in as we now go to the top of the 6th. Victor Reyes on a 1-2 pitch into center field, and that one is going to get down. So he's got some speed, and the Tigers have an opportunity here, and the pitch count getting up there for Lacey. Andrew Benintendi, though, swings through a hanging curve there, and he's down on just 3 pitches, and that's the first out. Then it's Rafael Devers, 0-2. He chased a fastball up out of the zone. It's another strikeout for Lacey, and now he's looking to get out of the inning here, but it's going to be Spencer Torkelson taking a 1-2 fastball that was up and away, pretty well located, but a good piece of hitting there, and he's on with a 2-out single to make it first and second for Javi Baez. 2-2 pitch. He pulled the string and got him to swing through it. So Lacey strikes out the side, but does have to deal with some traffic. He has pitched 6 scoreless innings, and now we go to the 7th. He's still out there. He's going to get Perez to hit a flare into center, but they were playing him really deep, and that one drops down for a base hit. Big turn from Perez, but he retreats to first safely, and now it's a runner on with nobody out. Lacey at 94 pitches, and now they are going to the bullpen, as he pitched very well in this one. Scoreless to this point, but he is responsible for the runner at first, as he will hand the ball to another left-hander, as it's going to be Daniel Lynch coming on in relief, making his 38th appearance of the year. His ERA is just north of 5, so he hasn't been too effective, and he's going to have to be pretty sharp here in a tie ball game, and already a runner on to start the inning. 2 outs as he's retired a couple in a row, and then it's Willy Castro hits this one hard. It's knocked down, but no chance there as it kicks over into foul territory off the glove of the third baseman and goes down as an infield single. Brings up Victor Reyes. 2-2 pitch to him is ripped into the gap in left center field, but that one is going to be caught on the run. It looked like he was going to have extra bases there, but a perfect route to get to that one and end the threat. Now we go to the stretch. Still scoreless. Tarek Skubal goes back out there, but it's a walk to start the inning, and that is trouble now, as the pitch count now is 82. We'll see if the Tigers stay with him. They do, and he's going to get a swinging strike out there on O'Hearn. That would be the first out. And then later in the inning, it's Michael Massey. 2-1 pitch to him. Grounder to third. It's hit pretty softly, but takes Devers towards second, and they go around the horn for another double play. It's 5-4-3 to end the inning, and we're going to the 8th. Still no score. 2 outs for Spencer Torkelson. A fastball up in the zone, and this one is hit deep to center field. It's a long run out there, but they do not get to it. It kicks off the wall, and that's going to be a stand-up double for Torkelson. And the inning continues with 2 outs. Daniel Lynch still out there. Next batter, Javi Baez. 0-1 pitch is down and away. He goes with it and hits that one over the head in right field. That's going to get to the wall. It's another double. They'll trade places, and now it's 1-0 Tigers. Back-to-back 2-out doubles off of Daniel Lynch, and an RBI for Baez, and a big one. Now it's going to be Jonah Perez with a little soft liner there. That will be caught at short to end the inning. But Javi Baez has given the Tigers the lead here as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Now 2 out in the inning, and it's Everson Ferreira. 2-1 pitch is hit through the left side, and that is big. He's got some speed, so maybe an opportunity for them to do something on the bases. And Tarek Skubal, that was his 100th pitch. The Tigers stay with him, and on a 2-0 pitch to Kreider, there goes the runner, and he is into second safely. So now Ferreira on second with 2 outs, a 3-0 count at that point. They get it to 3-1, and then Kreider sitting on a fastball. Taker on, I guess he stayed back on a changeup, actually. That's into center field. Not a bad throw from Reyes, but it is just enough up the line where Haas could not get the tag on the speedy Ferreira. Take another look here. After he steals his way into scoring position, this is about as close as it can get on a play at the plate, as Haas just barely misses him. And a good slide there to tie the ball game, and that is going to be the end of the line for Tarek Skubal. Pitched very well in this one, just one earned run. He is responsible for the runner that is on as they turn to Matt Strom, who has been deadly against left-handed pitching. As you can see his numbers entering this one. And he's going to get Kyle Lisbell to hit a soft liner to short. That's handled by Baez, and we are tied at 1 after 8 innings here in Kansas City. We go to the 9th now, still tied at 1, and it's going to be Daniel Lynch still out there. Willy Castro on a 2-1 pitch laces one into right field. That's going to get down. Good job to cut it off. Holds him to a single, but a runner on with 2 down. Then it's Victor Reyes. 3-1 pitch misses low. That makes it first and second. So they've got a runner into scoring position now with 2 outs, and Andrew Benintendi coming up. A 3-1 pitch looked like a strike, but he does not get the call, and that loads the bases for Rafael Devers. And now 2 outs in the inning. A 1-1 pitch to Devers is lifted into left center, or I guess straightaway left, and that's going to be pretty routine as that's going to end the inning, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. The Tigers had the bases loaded but could not convert the 2-out rally. And now 2 outs in the 9th. It's going to be O'Hearn hitting one to the right side. It gets past Perez, but VR over there deep in the hole to get it, and we're going to extra innings. So there will be some free baseball here in Kansas City as it's 1-1 after 9 frames. Now 2-1 to Spencer Torkelson. He has swung the bat well in this one and hits it deep to left field, but he just missed that one. Adalberto Mondesi was on to pinch run for Devers, and he does get the 3rd on that play, which is huge, because with 1 away, now a sacrifice fly could get him in. Javi Baez hits this one down the right field line, not very deep. A long run there, and it is caught. And Mondesi just no chance to tag on that one, so now 2 down in the inning, and now the Tigers need a hit. Daniel Lynch trying to get them through this 10th inning, and it's going to be Jonah Perez taking this one into right field. That gets down. A huge 2-out RBI single for Perez. And now 59 pitches for Lynch in relief after the rookie hits that RBI single to give the Tigers the 2-1 lead. And now they will turn the bullpen again. Another left-hander, again pretty effective against lefties, but not so much against right-handed pitching. And Jonathan VR starting things off against him. First batter he faces takes that one into center field. That gets down, and now it's first and second. 2 outs for Eric Haas, and he hits it hard, but that's going to be handled at second to end the inning. The Tigers get 1 thanks to the RBI single from Perez. Remember, the Royals will start with a runner on second here in the 10th inning, and the Tigers wanted to stay with Matt Strom for 1 batter as a lefty-lefty matchup there. Here comes the throw for Perez on the single up the middle. It is nowhere close, way up the line. And just like that, the Royals already have that tying run across, and now the Tigers will turn to the bullpen and go with right-hander Dylan Floro, who has been outstanding for them so far this season. A 1.7 ERA through 34 appearances. With that runner on first and nobody out, they try a bunt here. Perez kind of misplays it, but what a hustle play by Floro to get over there, pick that ball up, and get that lead runner at second, as they had to hold to make sure the play would get down. Now, next, a couple of batters later, I kind of missed up the recording, but nonetheless, here's a replay of how the inning ended. It was a ground out, or I guess a double play, 6-4-3. Sorry for the confusion there. Now on to the top of the 11th. It is going to be Castro getting hit by pitch to start the inning. So now it's first and second, nobody out. But later in the inning, it's Mondesi into the game after he pinch ran for Devers, and he grounds out to short. So we're going to the bottom of the 11th. The Royals get a run here, and this game is over. Now the runner had made his way over to third, and that ball hit up the middle. Baez diving try, throw to first, not in time, and that is going to do it. So they got a ground out to move that runner over to third, and then Pereira scoring there on the infield single, and what an effort by Baez, as that would have gotten it to the 12th inning. But the Royals come back to win this one 3-2 in 11 innings. The Tigers with 11 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts on the day. A 3-hit day for Torkelson, and he hit the ball hard every time he was at the plate. They got doubles from Devers, Baez, and Torkelson. Baez and Perez with the RBIs. Skubal ended up going 7 2/3, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned, and a no decision. Strom gave up a run over an inning and a third. It was unearned. And then Floro, the same thing, an inning and 2/3, but he gave up the game-winning run that would end this one. And now a look at the Royals' numbers, just 7 hits on the day, 3 walks, and they struck out 6 times. O'Hearn was 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. They got RBIs from Gamble, Kreidler, and Massey. No extra base hits in this one, and they hit into 3 double plays. Pereira stole a couple of bases. Lacey goes 6 innings, 5 hits and a walk, 7 strikeouts. Great day for him. And then Lynch, admirable effort, going 3 2/3, giving up 2 runs, just one of them earned. And then Manuel comes on to get the win, going an inning and a third, allowing just a hit, and gets his first win of the season as the Tigers fall in this one 3-2. All right, and now we have reached the All-Star game. So it is July 16th here in the 2024 season. We're going to take a chance to look around the league at standings, stats, league leaders, awards, etc. So there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you kind of in a hurry. As usual, we will start with standings, and we'll look at the AL East. It's the Yankees out in front by 2 games over the Rays, but Orioles and Blue Jays hanging in there, each 6 games over 500. So a lot of good baseball in the American League East this season. And look at the Orioles right there in the mix. So good to see them finally turning that franchise around. We have won 8 of our last 10 now, so starting to play pretty good baseball, both offensively and the pitching the pitching has been pretty good all year, but the offense has finally started to get it going a little bit, and now we're 6 games up in the division with the White Sox right there. The Guardians have pretty much fallen off the map. The Royals, not even close. And in the West, the Mariners, 55-41, 2 games up on the Rangers. So 2 teams on top of that division that we haven't seen a whole lot of success over the last decade or so. And then in the wild card, it's the Rays and Rangers in position with the Orioles and Blue Jays 2 games back. Astros and White Sox each 4 games back, but still in the hunt. In the National League, it's the Braves 10 games up in the East. They are 58-40, playing some excellent baseball. And the Marlins in dead last there at 36-61. The Brewers a half game up over the Cardinals in a tight National League Central with the Cubs right there 3.5 back, also playing pretty well. The Reds and Pirates are atrocious. And in the West, it's the Dodgers, a half game up over the Padres. The Rockies 11 back, the Giants 12.5 back, and then the Diamondbacks not even close. I think that's the worst record in baseball right now. But you see here, the Rockies are still, on the fringe of a wild card discussion there. If they can start rattling off some wins, they're 6 games back, but a few games over 500 at least. So not quite out of it, but the Cubs look like the potential team that could knock off one of these 2 to grab that last wild card spot in the National League. All right, so that's it for standings. Let's look at the individual stats for the Tigers, and we sort by OPS, which I kind of believe that it's basically a very good benchmark to kind of consider whether a guy is having a good major league season or not. 800 OPS I consider pretty good. And we've got 3 guys at or above that mark right now. Austin Meadows has been on fire lately. He's now got 20 home runs on the season, and he's hitting 268, which is respectable. Spencer Torkelson has been pretty consistent for us this year, hitting 273, 20 home runs, and look at his attributes starting to come along. So he could be turning into the superstar that we need him to be long-term on this franchise. Andrew Benintendi has been solid. He's hitting 290 with 12 home runs. Jonathan Villar having a good year with the average and the on-base percentage, but just 1 home run in 135 at-bats. Not exactly stellar, but he's doing a pretty good job for us. Riley Green hitting 280 with 6 home runs and has 16 stolen bases at the All-Star break, which more to come on the stolen base situation here as we move forward. Rafael Devers, disappointing year. The power numbers are there with 23 home runs, but hitting 231, an on-base percentage below 300. He's just got to be better than that, and he has really struggled against lefties this year. So that's been a big reason for his struggles. Akil Baddoo having a solid year. He was struggling with that average, but has really started to swing the bat better lately. He's got it up to 276 with 7 homers and 27 stolen bags. Javi Baez hitting 251 with 6 home runs. He had no home runs for a while and then finally started to get the power stroke going, but still just a disappointing year for him. He hasn't been terrible, and he has been better lately. But he's got 17 stolen bases, and bottom line is he's a very good defender, stealing some bags for us. So we'll take what we can get for him offensively, but I'd like to at least see the power numbers come up. Victor Reyes has been okay this year. As always, no power. The on-base percentage is actually better than the typical spread between his average and his on-base, so he is drawing some walks this year, which is a good sign. 7 stolen bases, and he's only got 114 at bats, so he's doing a decent enough job for us. Jonah Perez has struggled a little bit, hitting 231, 3 home runs. Would like to see him swinging the bat better, but he's only got 121 at bats, so I'm not real worried about him. He's developing a little bit, as you can see there. The attributes are coming along. So we'll see how he continues to fare. Adalberto Mondesi has been a disappointment offensively. The batting average is just atrocious. He's actually hitting for a little bit of power, which is interesting. 7 home runs. But bottom line, he needs to get on base more and use his speed. He's got 16 stolen bases, but he's just not getting on base enough, or else he could have more like what Akil Baddoo does. Eric Haas, disappointing year, hitting 194 with just 2 home runs in 98 at bats. We haven't faced a lot of left-handed starters this year, which is weird, and the reason why he's not getting a ton of reps. Some of his at bats have actually been on days where Jake Rogers was so tired I had to get him out of the lineup and get Haas in there. So, Haas is in there facing righties, and he just cannot hit right-handed pitching. So we're not getting much production from our catchers, but it's okay. Willy Castro has finally started to swing the bat better, but the average still down at 182. So definitely a disappointing year for him, but he is slowly starting to turn that around. Let's look at pitchers. We'll sort by whip and start with the good. Andrew Chaffin. Now, the interesting thing here is that whip is absolutely incredible, but he has still managed to blow 3 saves, and they've all been pretty recent for the most part. He had a stretch where for like 2 or 3 games he just wasn't very good, blew a couple saves, we lost games, whatever, but he's still just been outstanding for us this year, so I can't complain. Matt Strom also has been rock solid all year long. Michael Givens has been outstanding, although he started giving up some runs lately. The whip is still really good, but the ERA is a little bit elevated. Same thing with Dylan Floro. I will take those numbers from these 4 guys at the back end of our bullpen. That is just absolutely fantastic. Casey Mize has been a superstar this year. 12 wins at the All-Star break, 138 innings, 111 strikeouts, a 2.34 ERA, and a whip right around 1. So he has blossomed into a true ace. Tyler Alexander has been excellent for us in long relief. I really wish his stamina was longer, because he's been so good that I would consider putting him into that starting rotation spot, because Turnbull hasn't been very good, nor has Matt Manning. More to come on that. Tarek Skubal, he's been solid. He went through a little bit of a rough patch, but over the last few starts has really thrown well, and he's got a 1.25 whip, which is about the league average, and a 2.99 ERA, also right around the league average. So he's been pretty solid for us this year. Eduardo Rodriguez, he was struggling, but the last few starts he has turned his season around, and he's now got pretty respectable numbers. Spencer Turnbull has started to pitch well over his last couple of starts, so I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with our starting rotation. But we still have a little bit of work to do there. Matt Manning has just not been able to really get it going this year. He's been okay in the long relief role for the most part, but when I've had him in there as a starter, it's been like one pretty good start and then just get shelled. Jackson Jobe has struggled his last few starts, and it's been walks that are killing him. You see that 56 walks in 109 innings. He's got to be better than that. And his walks per 9 rating really isn't that bad, and neither is his control. So I'm kind of curious what's going on there. Although, look there in the top left, his potential has risen from a B to an A. So that is good to see. And hopefully that means he's going to turn into a really good, stud for us as well. And then Yarling Garcia has not been very good this year. The whip, 1.61, is pretty bad. He's had stretches where he's been okay for us, but then he'll come in and just give up like a walk and then 6 straight singles. It's just nuts how he comes in and all of a sudden can't get anybody out. But that's it for the pitchers. And honestly, not a lot of bad numbers there to talk about except for Yarling Garcia. I mean, that ERA for Spencer Turnbull is up, but the whip is coming down and the ERA is coming with it, and he's pitched well in his last few starts. I do want to look also, I guess, at AAA just to kind of see what we've got going on here. If there's anybody that's like really thriving, yeah, I mean 285, 7 home runs, D potential, 27-year-old, you're no good to me. This is a recent draft pick here, a catcher, Alfonso. He's 24 years old, and look at the contact against lefties just skyrocketing. And he's got really good defensive ratings and actually runs pretty well. So if this guy can continue to develop that bat to where he at least is going to put the ball in play most of the time, we can use him at the major league level because he's already a really good defender. So I like what we've got coming up there. And then let's see who else. Harold Castro, Mr. Singles, is only hitting 253 down there. That's no good. Anybody else? Nope. Nobody else really that I want to keep a close eye on there. And now here we've got Brett Cumberland, just 117 at bats, but he's hitting 291 with 5 dingers. But he's 28 D potential. Cy Clarkson, this is a guy we want to keep an eye on. He's hitting 302, 6 homers, and 15 stolen bases. Now the attributes for whatever reason are not coming along. At least not the contact against lefties, which is a little bit disappointing because that's the lower of his 2 attributes there. But he's a pretty good defender, has really good speed and base running, so this is a guy we could probably use in a year or so if he continues to develop. So keep an eye out for him. If he plays like this again next season, he's going to be on the major league roster before the end of that next year. So Parker Meadows having a pretty good year, but he's kind of missing the potential, so he's not going to develop, but he's a good piece to have on this team, honestly. And then Ulrich Bojarski, also D potential. So I don't think there's anybody else. This is a guy that we just drafted, isn't it? Luis Pinheiro. And his contact against lefties is solid, and he's got decent pop. He doesn't have a real accurate arm, but this is a guy that B potential. He's 21 years old. He's already got decent attributes for his hitting, and he's got a decent arm. Like I would like to see this guy maybe at the major league level, but it's going to have to be once Eric Haas is gone. Because the reason I would bring him up would be to play against lefties, and Eric Haas is a really good option for us there because of how much power he's got against lefties. I don't think there's anybody else on here that we've drafted that I really want to keep an eye on. So that's that. Now let's look at pitchers, and we'll sort by whip here. Willie Lowlich, this was a draft pick. He's throwing really well. He's up to a 67 overall, starting to develop a little bit. Chris Ashton also pitching very well. He's up to a 75 overall, and he's only 19, so he's going to be on the roster before long. Adolfo Ortiz, I don't think he's one of our draftees. He's not. Who else is? How about Desmond Elliott? C potential. So George Mcdonald was a draft pick of ours. He's a B potential, 22-year-old, already 71 overall, and his attributes are coming along. He's pitching okay. The 1.27 whip's a little higher than we want, but the ERA is down, so that's good. Gustavo Asensio has been terrible. Matt Tabor, I think we got him as a free. Well, he only pitched 3 innings, so don't worry about what you see there. All right, so AAA, Brandon Webb is flat dealing. 1.05 whip, a .74 ERA, 28 saves, and how about 57 strikeouts in 36 innings? This dude can mow them down, and he's up to a 78 overall, and the hits per 9 are going way up. All of the other major pitching attributes are coming along. I'd like to see the command get better because he doesn't really have overpowering stuff. If you look at that, 92 miles an hour for his fastball, but he must have some pretty good movement on the off-speed stuff to where he gets a lot of swings and misses. But I think this guy is going to be really good for us within a year or two. Then Ramon Merced, another one of our draft picks. He's pitching pretty well. He's up to a 73 overall. Joe Jimenez is doing pretty well this year. Javier Alfonso, I think this was one of our draft picks. He's only a C for his potential, so he's not going to develop a ton. But he's young, and he's got decent command to where I think we might be able to use this guy as like a long relief, but we'll see. Chad Kuhl has been not very good. Garrett Hill, this guy actually just made his major league debut recently for the Tigers and pitched really well. He went like 6 innings, 2 hits, and a walk, and ended up getting the win. So he was absolutely outstanding, but he's 28 years old, listed as C potential, but he was just absolutely rock solid in that start. Gilberto Maraville, Ty Madden. How about Fletcher Burkett? I think this was one of our... No, he's a C potential, 25 years old. How about Peter Suzuki struggling? The whip is up. ERA is good. He's a C potential too, right? Yeah, but he's 75 overall, and he's 19 years old. So, like, he pitched really well for us at the major league level. We can use this guy. Doesn't give up a lot of hits. He's got good strikeouts per 9. Like, everything about this guy is pretty solid except for his potential. So he should stay in the mid-70s and be a pretty respectable relief pitcher for a long time. We just have to hope that he develops a little bit. But that's it for our individual stats on our team. Let's look around the league at some leaders and kind of see what's going on there. Anthony Rendon hitting .324, leading the league. Home runs, Aaron Judge has 30. Rafael Devers, 23, is tied for 6th. RBIs is Cedric Mullins. That is pretty interesting. He's got 73. There's Devers tied in 7th with 64. Runs, Aaron Judge. Stolen bases, Akil Baddoo. And then we also have Javi Baez, Mondesi, and Riley Green all in the top 10. So we've got speed on this team, and that has helped us a lot. On-base percentage is also Urias, Aaron Judge, slugging, and OPS. Sandoval has 13 wins. That's best in the AL. There's Casey Mize tied for 2nd. Saves, the Wysica with 33. Chaffin has 26. ERA is Valdez with a 2.31. And there's Casey Mize, 2nd at 2.34. So he's having a heck of a year. Don't really care so much about shutouts. Strikeouts, how Shane Bieber is so far out in front of everybody else, it's just stupid. That is just crazy. Eduardo Rodriguez has got 3 complete games, and I feel like a couple of those were pretty recent. Casey Mize has a pair, and he's leading the league in innings pitched. So he's definitely carrying his workload for us this year. He's got the best whip in the American League. So he's got to be in contention for the Cy Young. How does Eduardo Rodriguez have a better WAR than Casey Mize? That just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand WAR, apparently, when everything that Casey Mize has done this year has pretty much been better statistically than Rodriguez. But whatever. Cedric Mullins has the best batting WAR. And now let's just real quick look at the National League major categories. Juan Soto hitting 319. Austin Riley, 27 homers, and Soto right behind him. And he's in the mix there as well. So where's Riley on the batting average list? He's not up there. So Soto could pull off a triple crown here if he can, you know, pop a few more homers with guys on base. 34 stolen bases for Starling Marte. Still getting it done, and he's got to be getting up there. Yeah, he's 35. So Joey Gallo leading the league in walks and probably strikeouts as well. Juan Soto, 440 OPS or on base percentage, slugging is 659. OPS is the best in the league. Walker Buehler, 14 wins, best in all of baseball at the All-Star break. 40 saves for Emilio Pagan at the All-Star break. That is insane. Buehler, a 1.5 ERA, not even close to the next guy. He's got 6 shutouts. Ohtani has 143 Ks, leading the National League in that category. 150 innings at the All-Star break. So he's tracking for like 250 innings this season. That's just bonkers. Kyle Hendricks has him edged out for the best whip, but definitely the best WAR goes to Walker Buehler. And like, I don't understand how it's even that close, but whatever. And how does Juan Soto not? Okay, well, it's by position or whatever, I suppose. But either way, Juan Soto should be at the top of this list, in my book. All right, last but not least, let's look at some awards. If the league ended, or if the season ended today, Cedric Mullins would get the MVP, edging out Aaron Judge. I mean, he's hitting 311, 24 homers, and I imagine he has, yeah, he's got 18 stolen bases as well. So, good for him. Cy Young would go to Shane Bieber, which is dumb because the only thing he's done better than Casey Mize is strike out guys. Like, Mize has been pretty much better at everything else. So, that's just stupid. Reliever of the year would be Loaiska. Rookie of the year, Tyler Freeman for the Royals, hitting 269 with 9 dingers. How about this guy, Jonkensi Noel? That's an interesting name. All right, let's save the rest of the awards for the end of the season and just look at the National League. It would be Soto getting the MVP, Buehler getting the Cy Young, Pagan getting the reliever of the year. How about this dude, Phil Bickford, 28-year-old, 75 overall C potential, racking up save for the Buccos this year. Look at this guy, a 1.04 ERA. All right. And then the Rookie of the Year would be Brent Diamond. And how about the Pirates with 2 guys in the mix for Rookie of the Year? So maybe the Pirates are on the verge of that rebuilding phase finally coming to an end. But I doubt it. I mean, it's the Pirates. But that will do it for this episode. Actually, one more thing that we'll talk about real quick is, let's actually look and see what's going on here. Okay, so there are some guys getting called up. All right, seriously, stop. If I look at our roster right now, I'm happy with what we have at starting pitcher. And really, I'm thinking, like, what do we need to win a World Series right now? We've got at least 4 good starters. And potentially you could say that we've got 5. So when we get to the playoffs, we're only going to need 4 anyway. And I feel really comfortable with these 4 right here, especially if Spencer Turnbull continues to pitch well down the stretch. But even if he doesn't, Jackson Jobe could be a decent option for the 4th man in the rotation. Our relief pitching situation has been very solid this year, and I am not going out and trading for a reliever. Like, we don't need one anyway, but even if we did, we've got so many weapons in the ranks that I'm not going and trying to get one. The one position that I might consider an upgrade is at catcher. Jake Rogers just has not gotten the job done, and he's playing a lot. So we've got to find somebody who can hit, and I almost wonder if we just call up this guy and just give him a chance. The problem is he's not as good against righties as he is against lefties, so it doesn't really solve my problem right away. We've got Haas in the last year of his contract, and he's 31 years old. I think the smart move next year would be to let him go and then let Pinero and Alfonso battle it out for that roster spot. But we could use a catcher that can hit right-handed pitching like right now. Torkelson and Perez as our, options at first base, I'm totally fine with. Willy Castro, the reality is Mondesi's playing second. We've invested a lot in him. I'm not, moving on from him at this point. And especially when Jonathan VR has been so good that I can just put him at second if I need to. Baez, we can't really deal away. Benintendi and Baду have been doing fine. Riley Green's been doing fine. Victor Reyes has really been doing okay. So, our outfield is solid. The one position where we could maybe use some help would be at catcher. So, I might, dangle some trade opportunities out there and see if we can get something. Because we have a ton of relief pitcher talent in our minor league ranks. Even this guy right here, 22 years old, B potential. Peter Suzuki is a guy that some teams might be interested in just because he's already pretty well polished and he's only 19. The C potential might be a factor, but the bottom line is I've got more arms here than I've got room for. So we might see if we can package together, Jake Rogers and another relief pitcher and try and get a catcher that just rakes against right-handed pitching, because then our team would be absolutely dangerous going into the playoffs. So we'll see if I can make anything happen there. But if you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we'll see y'all next time.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?